My name is Kate Wills. I am a doctor and I was the art director for Mr. Red Bean. So the director is an actor and his script is really driven by the narrative. And so for me, my role is to reflect that concept in the visuals to complement the script and what the actors bring to the plot. So for example, there are a lot of references that he had, such as cosplay and Stranger Things, that really helped to influence the style. But then also the characters' backstories really lend information to what the content is going to be for their spaces. So it could be, Fung is a uni student, he's from China, and he loves fun and games. And so they're the sort of things that we then try and put into that space to really make him own that space. Having no budget is a big challenge, but it's also not really that unknown because you do a lot of low budget films, and we had a lot of locations that were really brief but needed to be designed at least conceptually. But I think the biggest one we had was really the time constraints, because we had a lot of locations, the availability of the locations were tight, and then we had a lot of the crew that were still working, as I was too. So we had to get creative, pull some favours, like we used my office for Ted's office on the weekend, and we used the director's wife's workplace for the finale, which was also shot on the weekend. So there was a lot of scheduling challenges, really, I guess, with last minute changes or last second lock-ins when we hadn't done a recce of the actual location to know what we had would actually fit in the space necessarily. One of them was we had this cottage that we really needed to put about 3 different sets into, and none of the spaces there really looked like the characters. So we had Jess's kitchen space, and it was really just nothing that would look like something she would own, and so we had to really cover up things and try and make it look like it was something else that it really wasn't. And I think we did that because it was just a single shot. It wasn't having to move around a lot. But also we tried to do the office in the same location for Raj, and that was really interesting because the space just was really too tight and there was nothing that was reflective of his character, so we had to just make a wall and turn it into his office. So they were last minute things that we really kind of did on the fly. And so we had a lot of the props that we would bring with us, things that would be something that this character would own, and then we'd just have to kind of throw things together as we went if we could. I mean, we had a school quadrangle that looked like a school quadrangle, and we had to try and really turn it into something that looked like it was a planned function made by these Mr. Red Bean fanatics that were there to celebrate this huge event. And so we had to do a lot of creating of things. So we had a bit of a sweatshop, really. We had my family, we had me working at home doing creative, signs for placards, and we had the students that we had working with us as doing the prop making things like putting streamers together at home, and then we just had to put everything into the space on the day. So the actors are really part of the scene for me, so they need to feel comfortable in their environments, and it needs to look like they belong in their spaces. So I think I spoke a little bit about this before, about the different offices and rooms that the characters were in. But really, I work closely with the costume designer, so that's just to make sure that the theme really carries through from the costumes to the sets so that all the visuals have cohesion, if you like. So we needed to make sure that the colour palette helped tell the story, right down to choosing the right red for Mr. Bean's first aid manual. And really, interestingly for that, the first aid symbol is actually green and white, but the audience doesn't associate green and white with first aid. It's really more that we see the red and white of the Red Cross, which is actually military and copyrighted. So we had to be quite creative about how we worked that and made it to choose the right red that had to reflect the red bean itself, with also a hint of red for the sort of Chinese aspect, but then also to carry through this idea of the first aid in the manual. So none of this is overt, but hopefully it's sort of a subliminal thing that really carries through for the audience.